why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of the stabbing?
Yeah, sure. If
Hey,
I
Pam,
could,
could I just interrupt for
Sure.
1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep?
So I know you all have seen that clip before. We discussed it in a previous video, but as a reminder, that is the sitting president of the United States having what appears to be a visibly guilty, visibly insecure outburst over people asking questions about deceased sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein, who was a longtime associate and personal friend of Donald Trump's. Now, on the heels of this comes a bombshell new poll indicating that more Americans than not think that Trump is directly implicated in the crimes committed by Epstein. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, this is terrible news for Donald Trump. This is not good for him. This explains the flailing in public and behind the scenes and the total debacle by the Trump administration. So YouGov, which is one of the most reputable pollsters in the country, just dropped a new poll. It says, do you think Donald Trump was involved in crimes allegedly committed by Jeffrey Epstein? And of all the adults surveyed, a plurality, 40%, so not quite 50%, now, certainly not a majority, but a plurality, which means the biggest number of the options available, 40% say yes, Donald Trump was involved in crimes allegedly committed by Jeffrey Epstein. 27%, substantially fewer, say no. 33% say they're not sure. This is a disastrous poll for Donald Trump vis-a-vis the most notorious sex trafficker certainly in modern American history. And by the way, somebody who features at the heart of so many MAGA-related conspiracy theories. It again explains the MAGA rebellion that the Trump administration is experiencing and the increasingly vocal and direct criticism that Trump himself is getting, right? MAGA is so slow to criticize him directly because, again, it's a cult. So they say, oh, it's Pam Bondi's fault, it's Kash Patel's fault, it's Dan Bongino's fault. And certainly those people have blame. They have skin in the game. But they all report to Trump. Trump could overrule any of them at any time. He hired them in the first place. He could fire them at any time. And he's the one who is a longstanding associate of Epstein himself. And as we've discussed in previous videos, Trump has, a longstanding reluctance to commit to releasing the Epstein files, right? And when you see this reaction, you see his reluctance on camera to commit to releasing the Epstein files again, which he could have snapped his fingers and done before. It really gives the impression of someone who feels guilt, not like personal guilt in the sense he feels bad, but somebody who knows he's in deep shit. And that's bad news. And Democrats, by the way, should ruthlessly, and relentlessly cover this. And we're going to play some clips here in just a minute. But believe it or not, Fox News, of all places, has a really good write-up about 10 reasons the DOJ and FBI face backlash over Epstein files flop. Okay, so let's look at this. It's a really compelling write-up. FBI Director Kash Patel and Deputy Director Dan Bongino called for the federal government to release Jeffrey Epstein's list before they joined the Bureau. The Department of Justice leaders are facing sharp criticism and resignation calls from a faction of their supporters after they ended their inquiry into Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking case without releasing new files. The outrage, emanating largely from the right, can be tied to several past instances where those same leaders and other Republicans with large platforms once promoted the existence of incriminating, non-public Epstein case files, including a supposed list of sexual predators who were his clients. Attorney General Pam Bondi, FBI Director Kash Patel, and FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino now say they have nothing further to share with the public about Epstein's case. In a joint, unsigned memo, the DOJ and FBI said Monday that after an exhaustive inquiry uncovering 300 gigabytes worth of material related to Epstein's case, they found no signs of illegal activity by any new third parties. Some of Trump's supporters and Patel and Bongino's massive fan bases are now making it clear that they expected more. Below are 10 possible reasons for that. 1. Kash Patel said House Republicans should release Epstein's list of, quote, pedophiles. Right-wing commentator Benny Johnson asked Patel why the government had not released information about Epstein's purported clients, according to a clip Johnson shared in December 2023, before Patel became FBI director. Quote, simple, because of who's on that list, Patel replied. You don't think Bill Gates is lobbying Congress day and night to prevent the disclosure of that list? Patel criticized the Republican-led Congress for failing to obtain Epstein's list. Quote, what the hell are the House Republicans doing? They have the majority. You can't get the list? Patel asked. You can't even get the basic documents out? This is why America hates Congress. Put on your big boy pants and let us know, quote, who the pedophiles are. Oof. Number 2, Kash Patel told Glenn Beck that the FBI director has, quote, direct control of Epstein's address book. In an interview in 2023, Patel addressed questions from Glenn Beck about Epstein's, quote, black book. Patel said the FBI had the book. Quote, that's under the direct control of the director of the FBI, the now FBI director said. Patel added, quote, that's the thing I think Donald Trump should run on. On day one, roll out the black book. Epstein's address books have been a long point of scrutiny. His house manager tried to sell one, according to a 2009 FBI affidavit. Gawker punished one of the address books in 2015 with phone numbers redacted. That version contains hundreds of both well-known and obscure names. A judge allowed one of the address books to be entered under seal into the court record during his associate Ghislaine Maxwell's sex trafficking trial in 2021. Number 3, Trump told Fox News during his campaign that he plans to release the Epstein files. When asked on Fox and Friends Weekend last year, again, that's a viral interview that Fox very purposefully edited, right? I mean, again, and since we're talking about free speech, free press, and whether or not journalists or news networks should be sued for so quote-unquote deceptive edits and election interference, then you would think that by the standard that Trump is setting with his CBS lawsuits and his ABC lawsuits, all these attacks on the free press, that Fox could come under scrutiny from Kamala Harris or Joe Biden, given that this occurred in 2024 before the election, but I digress. Trump was asked if he were elected president, would he release the files? And Trump replied that he would. Again, and it goes into, how he tried to hedge and walk it back, but he said, yes, he would, albeit under visible duress. On Tuesday, during a cabinet meeting, Trump brushed off the topic, and that was the clip I played for you at the beginning. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene insisted there is a list, even after the Bondi-led DOJ said otherwise. And we're not going to read all of this, but because there are 6 more to go through. Senator Marsha Blackburn, a Republican from Tennessee, claimed, quote, Epstein's client list was, quote, key to helping us crack this trafficking ring wide open. Not good. Bondi suggested an Epstein list was on her desk. She not only said it, she confirmed it. She was asked, by John Roberts on Fox News, if she planned to release, quote, a list of Epstein's clients. And her immediate response was, quote, it's sitting on my desk right now to review. It being the Epstein client list. Do you have a list of Epstein clients? Are you going to review it? Are you going to release it? Yeah, it is on my desk right now, ready to review. It being the list. So yes, she confirmed she had a list. Now, maybe she misspoke. It's possible, but that's on her. Bondi told Sean Hannity that the DOJ has, quote, a truckload of Epstein evidence. Oof. So again, being hoisted by her own petard. Dan Bongino told his podcast listeners, quote, Epstein client list is a huge deal. There is, quote, a reason they're hiding it. So before he was deputy FBI director, he was gassing this thing up. And what's funny is, as I mentioned in a previous video, Bongino's now walking it back. He's like, well, listen, then, I was paid for my opinions, right? Now now I'm a public servant. So again, he's admitting in a roundabout way that he was lying his ass off, or at least that's what he's claiming now. I was lying before, but now I'm telling the truth because I was incentivized to lie financially and gas up the Epstein files and the Epstein conspiracy. But now, now I just got to tell the truth, and the truth is there's nothing to see here. Number 9, Bondi said she was briefed on the Epstein files and could not talk about them. Bondi told Benny Johnson in February she was briefed about the matter and unable to comment on it. Johnson asked, quote, where are we at with the Jeffrey Epstein list, the documents? And Kash has made a bunch of public statements about this. She said, quote, I was briefed on that yesterday. I can't talk about that publicly, but Trump has given a very strong directive, and that's going to be followed. Number 10, Patel said in November that, quote, restoring trust in the federal agencies could include giving the public, quote, the Epstein list. So, yeah, this is backfiring spectacularly on Donald Trump. Behind the scenes, Republicans are admitting, Trump administration staff are admitting that Pam Bondi screwed up spectacularly on this. And again, Democrats should not let up at all. They should be relentless on this, as they should be relentless on all of Trump's many failures and scandals, because facts don't always speak for themselves. And when you look at that poll, this is the first poll that I'm aware of post-Epstein list debacle of the past few days. And a plurality, more Americans than not, say, yeah, Donald Trump was directly involved in Epstein's alleged crimes. Oof. That is terrible politics for Donald Trump. And Democrats should be ruthless in exploiting it, because damn well if the shoe were on the other foot, they absolutely would. Hell, damn well if the shoe was not on the other foot, they would just cast aspersions anyway. If Joe Biden were a longtime friend, or Barack Obama, a longtime friend of a sex trafficker like Jeffrey Epstein, if Joe Biden or Barack Obama were listed on the flight logs of Jeffrey Epstein 7 times, if you have the weird comments, if Joe Biden or Barack Obama had made weird comments like the weird comments Trump made about Epstein, liking him young, imagine just that alone, any of those things alone, what Republicans would have done with that. So when you see this shit and you have the mountain of like the guilty outburst from Trump, the non-committal, the hesitation, the hedging to release the Epstein files, when you have the fact that Epstein died on Trump's watch when Epstein was in federal prison, you have all of this to politically prosecute the case. Democrats absolutely should, because again, Republicans would do it, and it's fair game. It's good for the goose. It's good for the gander. And this is a case of the GOP being hoisted by its own petard. No sympathy, no empathy. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.